Hello, dear teachers. Welcome back to a new episode of The Better Teacher. We have with us G. Balasubramanian, the former director of academics CBSE. Sir, thank you so much for joining us again.
Thank you.
Today, we'll be speaking of the challenges that schools face while implementing experiential learning. To begin with, can you tell us what experiential learning actually means, sir?
That's a very interesting question because every learning is supposed to be born out of an experience, right? Every learning offers opportunities for, relating cognition to a hands-on or to an environmental situation to position the knowledge appropriately in the learning domain. Therefore, experiential learning is said to be one that facilitates establishment of powerful neural networks in the brain. In the absence of adequate experience, the mere cognitive inputs become very voice dynamic and voice oriented, and therefore the learners are unable to relate them appropriately to contexts and situations. So experiential learning is a method by which the learning is empowered through cognitive, emotive, social, psychological, and other cultural experiences, so that the context of learning, the concept of learning is stabilized, made relevant, and made useful to the future.
Okay. When we speak of experiential learning, the first thing that comes to all our minds is David Cole and the experiential learning theory that he proposed. He did that in the year 1984. Now we're currently in the year 2026. Has there been any evolution in the theory, sir? Or
Yes, Kolb's approach was one of the approaches to define, experiential education, though it's a very celebrated approach. One of the major challenges that you find is that it all starts with a concrete experience moving towards an abstract conceptualization in the Kolb's method. Therefore, if experiential learning has got to be positioned according to the Kolb cycle, you need to provide that kind of concrete experiences to the learners always. But our education system is not so rich enough to provide the kind of concrete experiences in the classroom, and also the type of pedagogy that we have been adopting has been more focused towards delivering information rather than facilitating experiences. So there is a total mismatch between what could envisage and what's happening today. Secondly, as you rightly pointed out, several years have passed since the Coles model was positioned. We have moved from the unipolar delivery model, unilayer model of delivering knowledge, to multipolar and multidimensional learning today. Because today the information, the knowledge flows in from a variety of resources to the learner. As a matter of fact, decades before, the formal knowledge was dominating over the informal knowledge, and today informal knowledge is dominating over the formal knowledge. There is a reverse osmosis happening around. Therefore, many of the learning theories what we had experienced, positioned at that time, have got to be repositioned, re-engineered to fit into the modern conceptual dynamics. And therefore, I think the Coles model is though a basic model, a fundamental model, which is still valid. I think we need to re-look at it, re-engineer that so that multi-dimensional, multi-layer learning is empowered in the classroom.
great. You just spoke of how we have to relook at this, the theory and how it's implemented. How can now be used in schools, sir? How can it be used in classrooms?
That's a very important and interesting question. In my discussions with most of the schools, or rather many of the schools, I should say, that there is a misconception about experiential learning. Mm-hmm. Very often they compare it to an experimental learning in the school. The learners, the teachers need to understand that experimental learning maybe providing certain types of experiences, but experiential learning is not necessarily experimental learning. In order to provide experiential learning, the teachers need to examine the content and the concept more closely, intensely, and see what kind of emotions, what kind of cultural and emotional opportunities are provided by that content, and they should facilitate to manifest this content in the classroom, right? This needs a lot of preparation and thinking, but unfortunately, what seems to be happening with a lot of periods work schedule with the teachers, they become deliverers of information enshrined in a textbook. I think that is a challenge. I think with the national education policy focusing on experiential learning, our very approach to the pedagogy in the classroom will have to change. The teachers need to engage with their pedagogical intelligence to investigate more differentiated models of providing experience in the classroom, and the children are really capable of learning. As a matter of fact, questioning the children with different type of experiences will also help to bring out a good synergy between the content and the experience.
Correct. Speaking of children now, sir, at a young age, there is always experiential learning, if I can say that. Children learn, they ask a lot of questions, they learn through experiences. But as they start growing older, they focus more on their marks, exams, maybe schools and syllabus. How can there be, or how can we maintain a balance between experiential learning and the other stuff as the children start growing older?
Well, I think you are right to the extent that as of now, in most of the education institutions, there is a greater opportunity for experiential learning and adaptability there. But as they proceed higher, content delivery and focus on examination and rote learning, really displaces experiential learning, which is absolutely not correct. To me, there is a need to refocus the entire curriculum and school experience to more on experiential learning. And as a matter of fact, the very method of assessment of children through examinations could be more practical oriented and more evaluative of their experiences, of different types of experience they have. And therefore, when the assessment becomes more broad-based, more inclusive, more facilitative, I think the classroom dynamics will also change, and teachers will find greater opportunities to provide experiential learning in the classroom.
Okay. One of the things that is usually confused is experiential learning is hands-on learning. Is it always that, sir?
That's a very important question. That's a notion many people carry with them. It is not at all. The question is, hands-on experience is a very important aspect of experiential learning, because eye-hand coordination, ear-hand coordination, and speech-hand coordination, all these things are integral to the way the children are brought up at the primary level. But when they go higher up in the classes, there is so much of focus on data, information, memory, in that pursuit of this rat race for storing more and more knowledge. The quantum of knowledge is celebrated rather than the quality of knowledge. I think experiential learning facilitates more the quality of knowledge, more the internalization of knowledge, and facilitates curiosity and entrepreneurship amongst the children. And therefore, I think the focus has to shift on more experiential learning. And also, I would like to say, experiential learning is not necessarily related to subjects like sciences, that every single subject like English, social sciences, all of them provide adequate opportunities for experiential learning. And as I said earlier, the mindset of the teachers, the mindset of educational administrators, the mindset of boards to evaluate the children has to change in order to empower our children with better experiences.
Great. What can teachers do in class to make sure that the experiential learning in class is a little better?
Well, it's something which, as I said earlier, they have to open their mind scape. All that what they think is, we said, this is the way we have to teach a particular concept. This is the way that we have to, deliver knowledge. I think that's no more valid. For example, when I learned about the Newton's third law or the second law, or when I learned about the Boyle's law or a kind of a chemical application in the school, or the way I taught, they are not the same way now. Probably some of those illustrations I gave are no more relevant in the current society, right? Therefore, we need to reposition them to the more relevant, more contextual, more friendly inputs that the children have in the class. And it's very important, instead of going from the concept to the experience, we can start from the experience to the concept, right? That kind of reverse direction might help to position experiences in a better situation.
Thank you so much, sir. Very
Nice.
interesting. I think I learned a lot about experiential learning in this episode. Teachers, I'm pretty sure after this episode, you're going to, experiment a lot with experiential learning. Thank you so much and stay tuned for more such interesting information.